Weekend Women with Helen Blaby and Jules Osmani on BBC Radio Northampton, and our guest is here.
Absolutely. We've got Katy Tuncer. Welcome along, Katy, to Weekend Women. Now, Katy, you have founded a service called Ready Steady Mums, I believe.
Yes.
You've also got a 4-week-old baby, Alaric, who you brought with you. And good for you bringing a baby in at 4 weeks. That's amazing. Tell us about Ready Steady Mums. What does that involve?
Well, Ready Steady Mums is an online service. It's designed to help mums and mums-to-be to get in shape safely, effectively, and really importantly, practically around real life as a pregnant lady or as a new mum. There's a different service for the postnatal and the prenatal. The postnatal service is like a virtual personal trainer. It's like a real personal trainer. You have a consultation, you get asked the kind of questions that matter most in the early days of being a new mum, about your birth, about your fitness levels previously, about your general health and your preferences. And then you have a programme designed for you online, and you can look at the video demos and listen to the instructions and follow your programme from day one.
Really, from day
active.
one?
Well, it's not exercise. That's a very important distinction.
Right,
is it's activity to help with the recovery and prepare you for exercise for when you are ready. And then when you're ready, you move up through the levels. But it's all tailored, and you just get the programme that is designed just for you. And I have a very clever business partner who's a programmer who's built it all so that it works.
We were talking before, and this week I've been looking through lots of papers, these gossipy magazines, and I just could not believe, knowing I was going to see you today, how many features say, look at this celebrity, she had a baby only 6 weeks ago, look, she's a size 10, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All right for them, because they've got a lot of money. They can get personal trainers in straight away.
Yeah, so much pressure. You've just got this new little body, and if it's first time round, it's quite something. It's quite frightening in some ways. You've never done it before, and they're giving you the pressure to start.
I know. You look at your belly and you think, my goodness.
Well, I do that anyway, and I think that's a baby.
But it's awful. I think it's a dreadful pressure. Do you agree with me?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I do. I think there are two extremes, really, that mums are faced with. I think, as you say, there is the one where we look at the celebrities that 2 weeks after they've given birth, they're walking down the catwalk, and there is actually quite a lot of publicity about that, and a lot of talk about how we should be moving away from that extreme. I think the other extreme is also quite dangerous, and there are a lot of myths. And for example, lots of people that I know who are really intelligent people hear the myth that if you do anything, if you do exercise, or if you deny yourself any craving, like 20 donuts a day, then you'll damage your breast milk. You reduce your breast milk, which is not true. The medical evidence and the research says it's not true. But those kind of myths mean that there are also a big group of mums who do nothing at all. What I really try to encourage mums is ignore that horrible celebrity stick thin within 2 weeks, but also take a balance. Try and actually do something that will get you active, which will build your confidence as a mum, will get you on the path of rebuilding your core strength, set a good example to your children. And actually, we're trying to get the middle road between those two extremes.
Understandably. I've got to say, when I was pregnant, I've had the worst pregnancies in history, and that's no exaggeration. I was in hospital, tube fed and all sorts, and I was really poorly. So the last thing on my mind was exercise. I also lost a lot of weight. So this was not on my mind. But once I had the children, I was immediately, they popped out. I was back to normal, as it were.
Wow.
And I really wanted to start exercising again. And I was just worried that there's lots of sort of controversy about exercises. It just, one says one thing, one says another. The sit-ups, let's go the sit-ups. Now, I'm talking about some people, apart from regular births, but caesarean sections. Now, I had two, and I'm sure lots of people listening had not one section, but sometimes you have the second one if you've had one.
Yeah, very common.
And you do, my tummy and lots of other ladies, there's not much difference between me and a kangaroo, if I'm talking serious, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously the muscle's been cut.
Yeah.
And how do you possibly make that look?
Did you do sit-ups?
Well, I started because that's what I was taught to do, and quite frankly, it hurt.
Let's be honest, because even people who haven't had a baby will struggle with sit-ups. Surely they're not the best thing to do.
Okay, let me explain the why to avoid sit-ups. Completely avoid sit-ups. Okay, whether you've had a caesarean section or not, the growing a baby and stretching your tummy muscles will pull apart what's called your rectus abdominis muscles, which is your six-pack muscles, the ones that give you a six-pack if you have one. And they stretch apart, so you can end up with a vertical gap down your tummy, with these muscles pulled apart. If you do a sit-up, you use those muscles, right? The vertical muscles. But what you actually need to do is reconstruct your deep core muscles. The ones that are really important are called the transversus abdominis, and they stretch across your tummy like a corset from one hip to the other. They're deep muscles, and they need to be pulled, made stronger, so that then it will pull the gap closed in a safe way, and you're then able to do whatever exercise you like. And if you like sit-ups, at that point you can do it. But what's really important is that you first activate those core muscles, and that is not by doing sit-ups.
So is that kind of Pilates and yoga territory?
Pilates is a brilliant thing to do, yes, absolutely. Pilates, there are also just some really simple exercises you can do lying flat on your back to pull those muscles in, and once you learn to activate them, you can activate them all the time. You can do them when you're pushing your buggy, you can do them when you're lying in bed, when you're sitting in your feeding chair, and that's why I wanted to set this up, to give something that's practical to do in real life.
Yes.
And the whole of level 1 is about rebuilding your core muscles, getting your centre of gravity.
You brought a DVD out that explains all of this.
Well, that's for pregnancy.
That's for pregnancy. Okay. So if you are pregnant, what about when I know somebody? Hopefully she's listening today. That she absolutely loves the gym. I mean, she really loves her sport. And the minute she became pregnant, she stopped a lot because she just wasn't sure what to do and what not to do. Yeah, she was worried. I mean, understandably.
Yeah, that's very common.
It's very common. I mean, what would you say what you can't do? Because obviously there's lots you can do.
What you can't do, or what I believe you can't do, based on the evidence, the research that I've read, and the experts I've consulted, is that you mustn't do things that have a risk of falling or having an impact. So you don't want to do impact sports. I don't know if you play rugby or something, to give that up. Yeah. But actually, if you are a regular exerciser, you can continue with pretty much everything that you are comfortable with doing. Don't start a new jogging regime if you haven't jogged before, but if she goes to the gym regularly, she can continue with most of what she's doing. Don't do sit-ups. Try to avoid anything that involves twisting as your bump grows, and it's also not recommended to lie on your back too much, just because the pressure that puts with the weight of the baby is not very good for your circulation. And
so just about, I mean, obviously swimming.
Swimming is great.
Must be the best one.
Although some people have pelvic pain, so front crawl or backstroke is better than breaststroke.
That is painful.
Yes. Did you have that?
Yes, I did. And you have to wear, some women have to wear, it's the way the baby lies as well, and you have to wear almost like a very attractive, like you say, a corset to lift that baby up, because otherwise it's dropping down and you feel it. Yeah, that is.
I know ladies who've been in a wheelchair.
I was going to say, I know people who ended up in wheelchairs and on sticks with that.
Yeah, the pubic symphysis disorder.
That's the one.
Yeah,
it is really agony. Yeah. Absolute agony.
Yeah.
And it's usually from 7 months onwards when the baby's a little bit heavier. But it's sad to say, if you've had it once, you're generally going to have it again. Yeah. Lovely. That's what we like.
With the stuff that you do post-pregnancy, that sounds actually like it could benefit older people as well, because there's a lot of sitting in a chair and doing it. And you know, you can do this while you're pushing your buggy around. Well, it sounds like you could probably do it while you're going around the supermarket. And we could probably all do with a bit more core strength, couldn't we?
Yes, I agree. Perhaps my next venture will be Ready Steady Grannies.
Yes, I think it should be. So if you're just sitting in a chair like we are now, come on, Helen, prepare yourself, love. Come on.
Nobody told me I was going to have to do exercise.
Well, no, I didn't until about 20 seconds ago. Right. Tell us what we can do. First of all, I mean, postures.
Okay, let's sort out our postures. So you want your chin in, chest up, shoulders back, pull your shoulder blades down. Okay, make sure that your back is not curved, and especially anyone who's listening who's pregnant.
Just stuck out.
If you're pregnant, think about your pelvis position.
Okay.
If imagine you've got a big bum, which none of us do right now, but then your pelvis would tip forwards.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that your pelvis is neutral.
Ali's doing it next door as well, just so you know.
Your back is pressed into the back of your chair.
Okay.
So that's good posture.
I can't do it on this
chair.
Now
we'll just do two things. We'll do first of all we'll do a pelvic floor lift.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
So this is very glamorous. Imagine we're trying to stop wind and urine.
I've got a very strong pelvic floor.
Have you, love?
Have you?
Yes.
I love it.
I have medical evidence of that. My nurse told me that.
What did you score?
I can't possibly tell you when she told me either.
Well, okay, so there's two different types of pelvic floor activation. One is the lift and hold, so for about the count of 10, which you've probably been doing for about 10 seconds now.
Yeah.
And then the other is the pulsing. So pulsing activation, you need to do both.
Jules is brilliant.
Okay, so 10 pulses, and then you do another lift and hold.
You're not supposed to make any noises when you're doing that, just breathe.
Well, you breathe, yeah. And then the other thing which you want to do...
What did you say then?
We were pulsing your
pelvic floor. Okay, sorry. I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking.
Best we don't ask what
No,
George
So
was
the
thinking.
other thing we would do is try and then pull your tummy button back towards your spine.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing.
Pulling that right back
Ooh.
towards your spine. Yeah, that's your transverse abdominis that you're activating
Oh,
there. Okay, everybody got that?
Suddenly got a lovely figure.
Okay, and then relax. And actually, you can do that all the time.
You can
So
when you're
anyone who
sitting.
works in an office. Or
See, we were doing this last week. You see how this is linking up, Helen? We were talking about how to get fit at work as well.
Oh, I heard
Yes,
that.
yeah. So this is a good way when we're sitting down. We have to work.
Everyone,
our
not just
muscles.
mum.
Now, what about dads?
Oh, well.
Always get left out, don't they?
All right, well.
Right, is there anything that dads can do?
Well, actually, one of the most popular things we've done in the last about year is post the 6-minute six-pack workout onto our dad's page on our site, which is readysteadymums.com, the dad's page. And it's a 6-minute workout that works all of the core muscles that give you a six-pack. And I've had the idea... I've been talking about the idea for about the last 3 or 4 months, and lots of my members keep asking me about it. When's it coming? When's it coming? It's now on the site.
Fantastic.
And lots of dads have tried it.
And the website is?
It's www.readysteadymums.com.
Jules and I are going to sit here all morning now doing those exercises. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
You got flow like a river.